yesterday we have completed data statement options, right? Now, today I'm going to explain you about inference statement, and there are some options are there in inference statement. So, just we'll discuss about these options. Okay.
Okay.
First of all, what is inference statement? So here, inference statement, it is nothing but system will understand where is your source data. So suppose now data is to be read into the data set, right? So to read the data set, to read the data from your data source, so first we need to tell SAS system to understand the data source. So that's why we have to specify data lines. We have to specify the data lines in the inference statement, so that system can understand you have data and data lines. Okay, so this is your data lines. So supposed to say, see here, you have data and like ID 101 ABC 6000, which is separated by space delimiter. So the space is your default delimiter in your SAS application. Suppose instead of like a space delimiter, if you have any comma like a delimiter, suppose now there is a comma as a delimiter. So can you read the data like this? Can you read the data now? You cannot read the data properly. Why? Because system doesn't understand that we have a comma delimiter. It means if you have any delimiter other than space, system by default it doesn't consider to read the data. So in such cases, what we have to do is we need to use some inference options. Suppose here we have some options actually. So by using them, so we can read the data into data set. Okay. Yes. Here we have some infill statement options. Here we go. Suppose see here. So options like DSD, DLM, DLM SOPT, sorry, DLM STR, DLM SOPT, and DLM, sorry, miss over, scan over, OBS, first OBS. Okay, so these are the options which related to inference statement. So now we'll learn how to use them in an inference statement. All right. Now, see here. Suppose when you have a comma delimiter in the raw data, then how can you read means? Suppose when you execute your SAS program, you will get, so you won't get the data. It means you will get some missing data actually. So you are not able to read the data. You are not able to read the data into data set. But there is no syntax error. There is no there is no error in the program. So everything is perfect. But still you are getting some problems. Still you are getting some errors. It means that invalid data. So you have error in the data. It means logical error. So if you don't have a comma delimiter, if you have a space delimiter, by default you can read it. But if you have a comma delimiter, you cannot read. Suppose see here, I have one infile option called DSD. DSD means delimiter sensitive data. Delimiter sensitive data. Okay. Suppose when you run this program, now you will get the data. It means whenever you have a delimiter other than space, you need to use some DSD. And here the main important thing is DSD only work for comma delimiter. It doesn't work if you have a delimiter other than comma again. So suppose here if you have a delimiter like comma other than comma, like suppose here I have a delimiter called @ symbol. At that symbol I have it like comma delimiter. So in such a case, you cannot read the data using DSD option. You cannot read the data using DSD. See here, even it is getting same problem. Why? Because this DSD it doesn't work for other than comma delimiter. Just it only work for comma delimiter. Suppose in our raw data, they enter data like this. They enter the data separated by @ symbol as a delimiter. So in such a case, you cannot read the data, but there should be one option in a SAS application. We need to read the data in the data set. So in such a case, what we have to do is we need to go with another option. We need to go with another option called DLM. So suppose see here, if you specify DLM, the syntax is DLM equal to single quotation start, whatever delimiter you have in the raw data, you need to specify that symbol in that single quotations. So here I have symbol called @ symbol, quotation close. Now see here, now if you read the data, now you can get it. So you can easily read the data. And remember, this DLM option, it can read the data when the raw data having delimiters like any symbols including comma. It works comma also, it works for comma also, but DSD it doesn't work except comma. Remember this. Suppose here I have both a couple of delimiters like comma is there, @ symbol is there. Suppose one more symbol is called percentile symbol is there. So can you read with the DSD? Because we have a comma delimiter there, but you cannot read because we have only one comma delimiter. But along with comma delimiter, we have some other symbols also. So you cannot accept if any symbol is there except comma. So DSD it won't work. So in such a case, what we need to do is just we need to go with DLM only. Suppose see here, now I'm executing SAS program. You cannot read the data because, but you can specify all the symbols. Give a space. This is one symbol separated by one space, and give one more symbol. So what a symbol is there? Percentile symbol is there. And what is delimiter is there? Next delimiter is comma. Quotation closed. Now you can see the data. You can read the data properly. Okay. Then what is DLMSTR? Here DLMSTR is nothing but delimiter string. Delimiter string. DLM means delimiter. DLMSTR means delimiter string. As of now, you have seen some symbols as a delimiter, but now what happens? You can see the delimiter as a string. Suppose instead of these symbols, I have a string called XYZ. So in the raw data, they entered the data with the separated by XYZ delimiter. Okay, so it is XYZ. So it is XYZ, and it is XYZ. Now see here. So now you cannot go with DSD option, right? So what we need to do is here again we need to use DLM or DLMSTR. Suppose here if I'm using DLMSTR, so you need to specify the string name over here. So what is string name? It is XYZ. Yes, yes. Now see, now you can read the data. We can get it. Even you can use DLM also. See here, suppose now here I can delete the data set. Again, I'm executing this as program. See now. So here both can work. Then what is the difference between these two, DLM and DLMSTR? When we need to use exactly? Okay. So suppose this is DLMSTR. Okay, I will tell you when we should use DLM and when we should use DLMSTR. So suppose there is one string called XYZ. It is in multiple case. Like there are in some places it is in uppercase. In some places it is in lowercase. or some letters in lowercase. Here it is totally lowercase. So it means that we have one string called xyz. It is there in the multiple cases. Okay. So now if you use DLM-STR or DLM-STR, DLM. So now tell me, because in the first class I already told you data is always case sensitive. Data is always case sensitive. Whatever data is there in the raw data, you need to follow that. So suppose here now, which case should I specify over here? Should I specify X, Y, Z? So how can I specify? Because this string is existing in multiple cases, so I cannot specify the particular case, right? So what happens, see, in such a cases, so just simply specify your string name, maybe it in uppercase or lowercase, whatever. But to control that multiple cases, again we need to use one more option called DLMSOPT equal to quotation start I. Now what happens? System can understand that particular string, it is in multiple case in the raw data. So these DLM or OPT option, what will do? It will control the multiple cases of the string, and this DLM mixture, what will do? It will identify what string is there. Okay. In such when you are using DLM is OPT, you cannot use DLM. So that's why we need to use DLM STR only. So that is the main use of DLM STR. You can use DLM STR or DLM, but when you are using DLM SOPT, you must use DLM STR. That's it. Now see. Now you can read the data. Oh, we're not getting the data, right? So it should be give a small I. Still it's getting problem. DLM STR, DLM SOPT equal to I. XYZ. XYZ. Oh God. Okay. So the problem is here. See, what is the string name here? XYZ, right? See, here is XYZ is a string. Here also one XYZ. So system it understanding that it is also one string. Sorry, one delimiter. It is not a data. So it is taking as a string delimiter. So it must be deleted. So if you delete the data, what happens? This particular record will jumps to the here. It means this variable will take this next record data. See here. So that's why for the second record, what we are getting 7,000. Because this XYZ is also considering as a delimiter. So that's why it is getting deleted. So what happens when we don't have a data for name in the second record, it jumps to the next record. So it means 7,000. Anyway, it is a numeric way, it is a character variable. It can read character and numeric. So it is reading character data. So it is numeric, it is reading with numeric data. But if you open the raw data, if you open the data set, now it will be like a character data type. Now date type is a character. Though it is a number, though we have a number there, but it's like a character because of the dollar symbol. Okay, but it should not happen like that. So what we have to do is to control that. You need to change this name. Suppose here some ASD. Now you cannot. Now you can read the data. Now you will get it. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay, so now we have completed 4 options: DSG, DLM, DLM-STR, and DLM-SOPT. Okay, I will tell you the difference between DSG and DLM. Very, very important, these options. Even in the interview, you will get these questions every time. When you want to read the data from Notepad into SAS, you should be very familiar with these 2 options, DSG and DLM. Okay, I will tell you the difference between these two, like DSG and DLM. Suppose you have data, it is with the double quotation marks. So I have a name, it is with the double quotation marks. Okay, Just forget about this. Okay, this DLM is here. 101, comma. See, now while reading the data, we're getting some problem. So what is the problem means? Our data is having delimiter called comma. So in such a case, we need to use either DSD or you can use DLM equal to quotation start, comma, quotation close. That's it. So you can read the data. But see here what happens. You can read the data, but you will get the double quotation marks also. See here. Because we have used DLM option here. So it means DLM option, it cannot remove the double quotation marks from the character string. Remember this. It doesn't remove the double quotation marks from the character string. But in such a case, what we have to do is we need to use DSD. So this DLM will read the data. Suppose if you have a comma delimiter, you can use DSD or DLM, but directly you can use DSD. So it means DSD works for comma delimiter and it can be remove the double quotation marks as well. Now see, now you won't get any double quotation marks and you can read the data properly. Because DSD option will work for both comma delimiter and it can be removed double quotation marks as well. But if you use DLM, you cannot delete the double quotation marks from the character string. Yes. See. So you can't delete it, right? So now what we have to do is just specify DSD option. DSD option. This is for reading the data and this is for removing the double quotation marks. Now you need to use both options. Okay, but when you use DSD, you need not to use DLM option because DSD will work for both, right? So it can read the data if you have a comma delimiter and it can remove the double quotation marks as well. Okay. Okay, so let's come to the next option, miss over. It is also very important option. Okay, and one more difference is DSD between DSD and DLM. Suppose at first record name is missing. Suppose for the first record your name is missing. So it means this is first delimiter and in between delimiter there is a name actually, but it is missing. So what I said, if any character data is missing, you will get space. If any numeric data is missing, you will get dot or you will get period. So in the first class I told you. Suppose see here. So there should be space. Even here also, even in the third record also, in the third record for the name variable, we have missing data. So here also it should be space because we have missing data. Okay. Suppose if you use DLM here, DLM equal to comma. See, we are not getting, right? We are not able to reading the data. So what happens? This DLM, when you specify DLM option, it doesn't understand that you have a consecutive commas for it. You have consecutive delimiters here. So when you have a consecutive commas here, just give one space here, so the system can understand now. Give one space. That's it. So now the DLM option will work. It means that if you have any missing data and that is with the comma delimiter, you should use one embedded blank between the commas, between the delimiters, and that too when you are using DLM option. But when we are using DSD, need not to give any space between the comma. Directly it can work. Now see. So no, directly it will come. Okay. So these three differences are there between these two options, DSD and DLM. Once again, I will tell you what is the difference between these two options, DSD and DLM. DSD will read, DSD it works with only comma delimiter, but DLM it works other than including comma, all these will characters. Second difference, DSD will remove the double quotation marks from the character string, where DLM it cannot. Third difference, DSD will read the data when you have missing data with consecutive commas, but DLM it cannot remove. There should be one embedded blank between the delimiters. Then only it will read the data. Otherwise, it cannot. So these three differences are very, very important. Okay, let's move to the next option, miss over. What is a miss over? Miss over means, remember, suppose when you have a missing data over here, you have a missing data for the second record, and that should be the last item. That should be the last item. It means when you have missing data for the last variable, remember, when the last variable value is missing, what happens? Directly, this particular salary variable will take the next variable records, next record. Is it? Because that is a default mannerism in a SAS. Suppose see here, when you run the program, for the second record you will get 1 or 3. Why? Because we have missing data over here. What happens? We have a variable, but we don't have data for that. So what happens in such a case? It jumps to the next variable record. So next record. So that's why we are getting 1 or 3 here. And after that, there should be one space actually. It means we have a character data over here. Otherwise, you can give ASD. See what happens here. You won't get here ASD. Why? Because this is nothing but this 1 or 3 will goes to the salary, and what is the next data? ASD. It should goes to the ID. But ID is a numeric variable. It contains character, so it cannot read the data. So that's why it's getting stopped over here. It will get stopped over here. Okay. So now the thing is, when the last variable data is missing, directly by default, this record will jump to the next record. So we should stop that. So how can we stop? Means use miss over. Okay. So now you won't get that. You won't get such. You will get the data. It means if you have missing data of a number, it should be dot. Now you can see the dot here, because when the numeric data is, when the numbers are missing, you will get dot. When the character is missing, it will get it can be represented by space. That's it. So that is about miss over. But remember one thing: when we need to use miss over means when the last variable data is missing. If in such case we need to use miss over to control the jumping. All right. Then next option is, as this scan over is not important, just forget about scan over. Okay, next one is first O base and O base. These are very, very important concepts. O base and first O base. Okay, suppose now I'm creating one more data set called test from SAS.class. Now I am reading the data from SAS library. There we have one data set called class. Now I want to read the data from class to test. Test means now I'm creating new data set. Now see, in test data set, I have 19 observations with the 5 variables: name, sex, age, height, and weight. So now my requirement is I don't want to read all the data. I don't want to read from 1 to 19. I want to read like from 1 to 5 or from 5 to 19, like that. So now I want to read the data from 1 to 5. So here we have an option called first OBS equal to 5. See, let it be now bracket. See, just now how many records were there? 19 records were there. But when we use first obvious option, it takes from the okay. So you'll get you may get confused here. Along with this variable a plus 1. What is a plus 1? See here. I want to create one more variable called a. I want to create one more variable called a. What happens? What happens here? When the first record reading from the class table to test table, for this variable it will add plus 1. So now this variable value will be 1 for the first record. And when the second record will start to reading the data into data set, it will add plus 1. So previous value is 1, again it add plus 1, so it will be 2. Like that, it creates number of observation count here. So in the first class I told you, you cannot read all the data at a time. So the data will be read by one by one. So first you will read the one record, again it will be run, it goes to run, then again it goes to data step, and again it goes to table. It means again it picks the second record. So when it's picking second record, it will add a plus 1. The previous value is a, because when we are reading the first record, it will be 1. So when you are reading second record, it add plus 1. So 1 plus 1 2. So like that it creates number of observation count here. See, so 1 2 3 4 19. Why I created this variable? I just want to make you understand from where we are getting the data. Now suppose here data test 1 from test. Here I want to use first obvious equal to 5. It means now this data will first obvious equal to 5 means, I will tell you. Suppose in this test data set we have 19 observations, 19 records. So if we specify first obvious equal to 5 means this fifth record will be the first and it goes down. It means the fifth record, it starts reading from the fifth onwards. So we have 19 observations. So if it is starting reading from the fifth observation means you will get 5 to 19. See here. It should be in bracket. See here, from 5th to 19. That is first obvious. Suppose here one more option called obvious. Obvious means the last observation. Obvious equal to 5 means this fifth record will be the last and it goes up. So it means it takes from 1 to 5. Suppose if you you can specify both OBS and first OBS. Suppose if you specify first OBS equal to 3 and OBS equal to 5, it means from 3 to 5, because first OBS equal to 3 means these records will reach, it starts reading from the third onwards. It means third record will be the first and it goes down. But when it's going down, again what we are saying, OBS equal to 5. It means it has to stop there only at the fifth record. So now you will get only 3 to 5 records. See, 3, 4, 5. Got it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you really understand these two options, now just tell me, I'll give you one simple task. Suppose my requirement is, I want to take only 50 record. I want to pick only 50 record. How could I? So can you pick 50 record?
So you want just the fifth one, right?
Yes, I just want to take only 51.
So first you can go first of equals 4, and then after there you can go up to let's say 18. You are avoiding 4 there 5. So 13. 14. OVS equals 14.
14?
1 for 14.
OBS equal to 1/4.
And first of equals 4.
4.
Yeah.
Means.
So you will have just fifth one, right?
How could I?
Because when you do first OVS 4, it means that you are counting the fifth one.
No, it starts reading from the fourth onwards only. So equal to 4. So this fourth record will be the start. It will be the first, and it goes down up to maximum records. It means 4 to 19. Again, what you said, OBS equal to 14. So the last record should be 14. So it will start from the fourth onwards and it goes up to 14. So it will get the records between 4 to 14.
Oh, okay.
So now see here.
Let me see here.
4 to 14.
Oh, okay.
But my question is not that. My question is, I want to pick only fifth record, only fifth one. It means, see here, if I open that source data set, I want to pick this fifth record only. So it means Henry. I want to take Henry details. Not obvious.
So this first of is equal to 5.
Okay.
And then ops is equal to 5.
Exactly. So it should be first OBS equal to 5 and OBS is also equal to 5. It means what we are saying that it should be start with fifth onwards and it should be closed with fifth only.
Yeah.
So now you will get only fifth one. Now you understand this.
Yeah.
Okay.
So is there any other simple way like select 5 or something like that?
Yeah, you have.
Okay.
Suppose see here, without using these two options, in the first class I told you, do you remember that we have one variable called underscore n underscore?
Underscore, yeah, that's true. I don't remember that. Basically, that one is to name the folder or something like you don't start with numeric or something. That's what
it is like suppose when you are reading the data, when the records are moving from input buffer to PDB will add two more variables, right? One is underscore n underscore underscore error underscore. Underscore n underscore means when you complete first iteration, this value will be 1. When you complete the first iteration, this variable value will become 1, and if you don't have any error, it will be 0.
Yeah.
You remember this?
Yeah.
But if you have any error, it will be 1. That's it.
Right.
And if you are reading second record, it will be 2. 1 plus 1. 1 plus 1.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Okay. So it means when you are reading the data from test 2, test 1, it is nothing but you are reading the records from test 2, test 1. It means when you are reading the first record, this variable will be 1 and this variable will be 0, right? So now you can take this variable, but it will be in the backend actually. You cannot see that variable. But you can use in the condition if underscore n underscore equal to 5.
Oh, okay.
You directly will get 50 record, right?
Yeah.
So this is 51.
Yeah.
Sometimes now I want to read like 5th. I want to read data like 5 on 7th one and 10th one. So now I want to read these three records. Then how can I read these 3 records? So you cannot specify like this 5,
7, and 10.
You cannot specify like this because when you are specifying equal symbol means it sends that it should be equal to only 5.
Okay. So can you do like n equals 5 equals 7 equals 10?
No, you cannot read that.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry.
Okay. Now what happens? In this case, we need to use one operator called inoperator.
Oh, okay.
So whatever inside, it has to consider. Now see. Now you'll get it. 5, 7, 10.
Yeah.
See, suppose when we need to use OBS, first OBS, and this inoperator. See, suppose your requirement is like when you want to read the data from particular position to particular position, like a particular range, like from 10th to 100. So 10 to 100 means you need to use both. Suppose if you have 1,000 records, I want to read from 10 to 100. So in such case, what should you specify here?
So
No.
First, okay, sorry.
You cannot specify inoperator, right?
Yeah.
Yes, first OB is equal to 10 and OB is equal to 100.
100, yeah.
Suppose if your requirement is like I want to read only 10 records. So here you can specify like this, right? OB is equal to 10.
10, yeah.
Suppose if you want to read only 10th one. So in such case, you can use first OB is equal to 10 and OB is equal to
10.
Suppose if you want to read, I want to read 10th one and 100 one and 190. Just 3 records I want to read. So in such a case, you can use inoperator. Got it?
Yeah.
Inoperator.
10, 100 and 190.
190. Otherwise, you can give comma also, no problem, no issue. It will read. It doesn't harm your program. See here, suppose if you want to read like now, I want to read second one, 8th one, and 19th one. You got it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The next one is okay. So I think we have cleared all these options, right? First OBS and OBS. So now let me know if you have any doubts with these options, so that I can make you clear. DST, you understand?
Yeah, DST, yeah.
DST, DLM, miss over, DSG, DLM, DLM STR, DLM SOPT, miss over, first OBS and OBS.
Yeah.
If you really understand these concepts, these options, I will give you one task.
Okay.
So actually, yesterday I had given one task.
I haven't received that email yet. Maybe Roger, he didn't send me.
Oh, okay, okay. So actually, yesterday I mailed that. I did
Yeah.
mail that documents.
Okay.
Okay, no issue. So today we will see.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, generally, another thing is like basically, I downloaded the book and those things like when so whenever like for tomorrow, if you're going to teach something, so if I get a hints, then I can basically I can read little bit about that whatever time I have, and that will be more easier to follow, sometimes like my own preparation and then after coming to your class. So
okay,
yeah,
okay.
how about that? I mean, what do you think?
No, I didn't get you.
So what I mean is like let's say so if you what you are going to teach tomorrow, if you tell in advance today, so I can read my book and then
Okay, okay, okay. So you have that document, the SAS document.
so
You
yeah,
have.
I do have the book, yeah.
Okay, no problem.
I
See,
mean,
so
yeah.
tomorrow I'm going to discuss about the day input statement. Actually, input statement it is not useful. Input statement, even in this info statement, this data statement options in the real time we don't use actually. We don't
Mhm.
use them.
Okay.
Why? Because see, in the real time, they won't give you data in the notepad. Why? Because if you
Mhm.
have a if you are getting data in notepad means it takes 7 to 10 days to read the data into data set. So
Right.
company don't want to they don't unnecessarily they don't want to spend you much more money on you, right?
Right.
So yes, so definitely they will maintain some databases like they will
Mhm.
maintain some Excel or sorry Oracle database or Teradata, Sybase. Otherwise, they will maintain the data in flat files like Notepad, Excel, CSV,
Mhm.
Access. Okay, so
Yeah.
in the real time, you need not to read the data from the Notepad. So
Mhm.
you need not to use this DSG, DLM, ISO, but why I'm teaching these all the concepts is, but if you want to crack that
Okay.
certification exam,
Mhm.
you are very familiar with these options because in that to get confused, they won't make you confused with these options.
Okay.
Okay, so you should be very familiar with these options. In the real time, it is useful, but when it means, suppose when you are working for
Mhm.
testing server means you need to test some reports, some program which generated by SAS programmer. There you need to use these options. Why? Because at that time, what you have to do is you have to send the data in the notepad. You have to
Mhm.
export the data into notepad. So at that time, again you need to read the data into notepad from the notepad into SAS. So at
Mhm.
that time you should very familiar with these three options:
Okay.
DSD, DLM, DLMSTR, DLMSOPT. Okay, at the time it is required, but in the real time you never use this. Suppose you are a SAS programmer, you are working for a development server, you no need to use these options. Okay,
Okay. All right.
but when in some cases if you are working for testing server, then you need to
Mhm.
use, but
Okay.
you won't get much opportunity to work on testing server. No need
Okay.
to worry. Okay.
All right.
Okay,
All
so
right.
I think my opinion is I don't want to teach this input statement. It will be very complicated, and you will get easily you'll get more confused with these options input
Okay.
statement.
Okay.
Okay, so if I think we can better discuss with this input statement at the last class.
Okay.
What do you say?
All right. Okay.
It's better actually. So it is not required. Now
Mhm.
we can move to the next statements like manipulation. So
Manipulation. Okay.
yes, yesterday in the first class I told you, right? One is data access,
Uh-huh.
data manipulation, data analysis, and data presentation, right?
Yeah.
So now we are in data access till today. So
Okay.
just we discussed some concepts which suppose when we want to input the data from Notepad into SAS.
Mhm.
Okay, some
Okay.
cases suppose your data is an Excel file. So uh, Okay, so I think we better discuss about some concepts now. How can you get the data from, again, Excel to SAS, from CSV to SAS, from your database like Oracle, or whatever database you are using, like Oracle. It may be Oracle. It may be Sybase, Teradata. It depends on your company. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so I will give you the programmers now. Okay,
Okay.
once we done data access means we can move to the data manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
Now clear?
Yeah.
So for only suppose for notepad, suppose when you want to read the data from notepad into SAS, in such case we need to use we need to discuss about these statements: in file, input,
Yeah.
these data statement options. But when you want to import the data from Excel to SAS, no, need not to explain, need not to discuss about these statements. You got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Now the heading is, now I cleared everything. Now ways to okay ways to read the data into SAS. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So how many ways we can read the data into SAS? Okay. So first one is in-stream data. In-stream data means when you want to read the data from SAS itself. When you want to enter the data in SAS itself, that is nothing but in-stream data. Suppose here I have one data set called, I'm creating one data set called test. So here I want to type the data in SAS itself only. In file, so data lines, input, ID, sorry, name, salary, data lines, 101, ABC, 6000, 101, XYZ, 7000, that's it. So this is one way you can read the data from SAS itself. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
it means instant data is nothing but when you enter the data, when you reading the data from data lines to the data set. So that is nothing but instant data. So what is syntax to enter the data in data lines means? This is your syntax.
Mm-hmm.
Data set name, infile, data lines, input, ID, name, salary, data lines. Here we can type the data. Here we can type the data, then run. That's it. So this is instant data. So now we can read the data from data lines to data set. And one more way is reading the data from notepad into SAS. So this is second way. So see here, just nothing, just what the syntax will be changed. So this is syntax for instant data. For the notepad, data set name, infile. For notepad, remember we need to use infile and input also. We need to use infile in the input statement when you want to read the data from input from the notepad. But generally here you cannot specify data lines. Why? Because now we're not going to type the data in data lines. Now we have data in notepad, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it means we have a existing notepad. It may be in desktop, or it may be in a PC server, it may be in your desktop,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So here we need to give that location of your notepad.
Yeah.
Give a semicolon. Next, give input statement.
Mm-hmm.
So here you need to specify you need to give an input of your variables as per your raw data. First, you need to check the raw data only. So suppose here I have I have one folder called notepad. Here I have one notepad called sample. So here I have a data. So there are nine observations are there. Okay. So now we need to give this location. Okay. So what is your notepad name? Sample. And what is the extension for notepad? txt. And here you should give the input as per your raw data. So just open the notepad. Just observe the data. So this is the first one is ID, because in the notepad we won't be variable names will not be there. Variable names will not be appeared in the notepad. Just directly they will enter the letter like this, ID. So as per that we need to type the variable names. But in the real time they will give you variable names directly. So this is the first one, employee ID. This is employee name. This is gender. This is salary. So they will give you one line like these variables you have in the raw data. Okay. But this is your for practice purpose, right? So you can easily give a variable names like this is ID. This is name, sex, salary. Just I'm giving blindly, like, you know.
Right.
ID, name, sex, and salary.
Yeah.
Just give run.
No, $sign.
Yes, exactly. So first I just want to run that.
Okay.
Yes, so that you can easily understand, right? So by default you won't get character data until unless you specify dollar symbol.
Right.
So now I want to give dollar symbol. Okay. Now you can read the data. So you got, right? So this is the way to read the data from a notepad. Suppose now I have data in Excel. But except notepad, except in stream data and notepad, we don't use data step to import the data from Excel or CSV. For that, we have one more procedure called proc import procedure. Okay, so this is your standard syntax actually. Okay, this will be standard syntax for everyone, for everything like Excel or CSV. Okay, now see, what is data file means? Where is your Excel file? Give a location. So you need to give the location over here. So here I have an Excel folder. Just copy that Excel folder. Copy. Paste it over here. And again in the Excel folder, we have different Excel files. Which Excel file you want to read? Whether you want to read data from Alish Excel file or ABC or Assign3. So now I want to go with Assign3 Excel file. So type your Excel file name here, Assign3. And what is the extension for Excel file? It should be .xls. And here, so where you want to store it? I want to store it in SAS application. So to store in SAS application, where you will store the data sets in SAS libraries, right? So if you don't give any library name, if you give a data set name directly, it will store in the work library by default. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Because if until unless you don't specify any library name, it directly it's stored in work library. So if suppose it is your requirement is like I want to store it into one library called Madhu. So in that time you need to give OPTGHAR so that system can understand to store a data set in Madhu library.
Yeah.
And what is the DBMS for Excel file? Just it should be Excel only.
Okay.
Just execute the program now. And remember one more thing, from this proc keyword up to DBMS, this is only one statement. So that's why here I give a semicolon. Otherwise you can write like this also. You can split it into multiple single line also. But it is very, I think it is even more better to understand this concept, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now see, this ABC dataset has created. This data is actually from ASIN3 Excel file. Just open that ASIN3. Just open up. Just see the data. See again in that ASIN3 Excel file, we have different sheets here. Product underscore reach underscore sale, product underscore price, product underscore sale, product underscore good underscore Q2. So actually, which Excel sheet has imported? See here, if you observe the first sheet, by default, these four sheet will be imported. See here, product underscore code, quarter, year, and each underscore sale. Now you can see, right?
Yeah.
Okay. For instance, I don't want to import the data from first sheet. I want to import the data from except first sheet. Like I want to import the data from second sheet or third sheet. So in such a case, you need to mention the sheet name exactly, so that system can understand it. And remember, the sheet name should be in single quotations. And give a semicolon. Here in the single quotation, what is the sheet name? Suppose I want to import the data from product underscore sale. It means the third sheet. Just type your name, product underscore sale. And remember, the sheet name is not case sensitive. You can give any case, uppercase or lowercase.
Okay.
See here, still we are unable to importing. Why? Because I already told you. First, we have imported one data with ABC dataset. Again, we changed the sheet name, right? Again, we are importing into ABC only. It means in proc import procedure, when you are importing the data with the same existing dataset name, you cannot, right?
Yeah.
So I just said one option called replace. Now, because we have an existing dataset, see in the log window, import is cancelled because of output dataset about madhu.abc already exists. So specify replace option to overwrite it. Whether you want to overwrite it or whether you want to create one more dataset for the third sheet, you can. It's up to you. So when you yes.
Yeah. So if you want to replace, can you do like ABC equals ABC?
Yes. It will be replacing ABC only.
Okay.
See, now we have one data, but when you run this program now, it will be replaced. See.
Okay.
First data, it was from first sheet. It means from this one. When you type the replace option, now the data will pick from product underscore sale because you specified this syntax, the sheet name over here, so that now the data will pick from this sheet, right?
Yeah.
Now you understand, right?
Yeah.
Suppose now I want to import the data from CSV. CSV means comma separated values. Okay, so just the same procedure like proc import data file equal to location of your CSV file, then out equal to your library dot dataset name. Suppose where you want to import, where you want to store it, and after that give a DBMS name and just run it. Okay, now I want to change the location of Excel file. And remember one more thing, Madhu. When you want to import the data from any Excel file, your file should not be open. It should be closed.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I want to import the data from CSV file now. Suppose here I have one more file called I have one more folder called CSV folder. Just open that. So here you can see some CSV files. So first you need to copy that location of your folder path location, copy it and paste over here. And again in the CSV folder we have different files again. So which CSV file exactly you want to import? So if you want to import the data from file CSV file, So you first you need to observe that. So it's actually it is not good. We can open that car underscore class. Yes, we have data here with the variables.
Right.
Yes. Okay. Now what you have to do is just type your CSV file name car underscore class. Is it cars or car? Okay, car.
Yeah.
And what is the extension?
.cv.
.csv.
CSV. Yeah.
Yes. Just out is nothing but I want to create one dataset for that CSV file. So I want to create like a sample, and dbmsc means it is CSV only.
CSV.
Okay. Now see here. Okay, your file has been imported actually. How can I say that? See in the log window.
Yeah.
But where it will be created?
In the what temporary one.
Yes, temporary one, because we didn't specify any library name. So now suppose if you want to show it in Madhu, just give Madhu dot. Now it comes to the Madhu library. We can see here. You got it?
Yeah.
So this is a way to import from CSV to SAS. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I want to read the data from existing SAS dataset. Okay, Madhu, after this, I will send you this code also. You can, I think it is very better to follow you. It is very better you to follow this, right? I will send you this program, whatever I'm writing here. So I will save this program into one document. I will send you, okay?
Okay, yeah. I mean
that could be very better, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, see here, I have one data set. It is nothing but I already have one data set. I want to read the data from existing SAS dataset. I don't want to read the data from Excel or CSV from Notepad. I want to read the data from dataset, and that is already existed. So, what is the statement means? We use set statement actually. The syntax is I want to create new dataset called test. The keyword is called set. It is useful to read the data from existing SAS dataset to new SAS dataset. So suppose I want to create one data set called test in Madhu library, Madhu.test. So I want to take the data from sample data set, and that is existing in Madhu library only. It means you are creating one data set called test from which data set? Sample data set. The same data set will be, the same data will be copied. Okay? So this is a way to read the data from existing SAS data set to new SAS data set. Now, reading the data from existing SAS data set that is located in PC server or PC location, your personal computer location. It means that just now we imported data from existing SAS dataset, but that is present in the library only, right? SAS library.
Yeah.
But now the dataset is available in PC location. How can you read that? I will tell you. See, suppose I want to send these libraries into one particular location, like I think you cannot copy this, right? Okay. So when we create Madhu library, we created one folder right here. When I created Madhu library, I given one location when I'm creating Madhu library. So I think that is nothing but Madhu folder. There is Madhu folder here. So the same dataset will be copied over here also. You got it? I think you didn't remember. When I created that Madhu library, Here. See, I will show you. When I was creating Madhu here, I given one location, right?
Yeah.
So that whatever you are creating like data sets, it will show in Madhu library in SAS in that given location also. That location could be your desktop, or location could be your C drive or D drive. Okay. So that's why we got these data sets here. Okay.
Okay.
See here, the same data sets here. Whatever creating in Madhu in SAS application, the same data sets will copied in the backend. That is nothing but your PC location.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Suppose now I want to read. Suppose I want to read these data sets into one new library. You got it?
Yeah.
So suppose this is my source data. Now I want to read this data into one new library. Suppose see, the syntax is here. We don't use proc import. We don't use data step to read the data from SAS existing SAS data sets, and that too located in SAS quiz location. For that, I have one procedure called libname. Libname means library name. I want to create one new library called Sri. I want to create new library called Sri. So I want to take that location where you have data sets in Madhu library. Madhu location. Just copy that location and paste over here. No. See what happens? Libname free Sri refers to the SAS same physical library SAS Madhu. This particular location, we have created one library called Sri. See, just go to explore